okay? Press create. You're gonna have a blank canvas. So the first part of this particular project, you are going to import a picture. So I want to go to place embedded. I'm gonna select the picture. And then you're gonna place it. So what I want you to notice, what's very important, is the layers. So once you change the size by using the move tool, selection, make sure show controls are on. If it's not on, you won't be able to change the size. And then you put it somewhere on your canvas. It's up to you. Notice, very importantly, that it's on a different layer from this. So basically, layers allow you to stack things on top of each other, and it allows you to work on one thing without damaging the other. If your background layer is locked and you can't use it, you can click that button to unlock it. Okay. So the next thing in this project you're going to do is layer effects. I want you to go type a word. It can be any word. All right. After you type your word, I want you to choose a different font. Right now I have this particular font, but as you notice, there are multiple different fonts. One thing that I like to do is make sure my character window is open. So it looks like my character properties are already open right here, but I like to open my character property. That way I can change the different fonts right here. But you have to make sure it's selected. Okay, so I select it. And once I select it, you'll see that it changes as I roll over. Now I can see what my words look like. Okay, so I like this one. I want to make it a little bit bigger. If I want to change the color, I can go right here and change the color. But make sure once you have it selected and you change the size, you have to click on the button, any button right here, just to take that off. But I notice how it's also on its own layer. So we're going to have multiple layers, okay? So if I wanted to change the color, that's how I would change the color. I can use any color that I want. All right, so I have one color right here. Now the next thing that we're going to be working on is the effects. So now I'm going to click on the effects, and I'm going to start by going to Bevel Emboss. All right, so when you get here, notice how every time I click a different button, it adds a different effect to the word. It kind of gives it that 3D image. So what I want you to do is go choose one of these, let's say enter by level emboss, and then we'll go to the next, which is stroke. And stroke is interesting because you can change the color, and you also can change where is the stroke. Basically, strokes outline your word. All right, so a stroke is basically another word for an outline. Okay, so choose one of the strokes, and then the next one you're going to do inner shadow. Okay, and that's pretty simple to explain. It creates a shadow inside the letters. Okay, you can change the direction and the size, and you just basically can play with it until you get the look that you want. Okay, now I'm going to go type me a new word. Every time I type a word, it's going to create a different layer. So notice right here, now I have a different layer. So what I want to do is do some more experimentation. I'm going to select using the text tool, select, and now I want to go change this to a different font. Okay, so that one looks pretty cool. Make sure it's selected, this layer selected, and you know it's selected because it's highlighted. So notice how this one has a FX on it. I'm going to put some FX, at least 3 different FX on the new word. So I did inner shadow. Now I'm going to go to inner glow. Some of them you're not going to be able to see originally, but you can change the size and also the color. Since the background color is white, I'm not able to see that one. So I'm going to change the background color and see if that makes a difference. So my inner glow, let's try a darker color since we don't know. So it's on screen. I don't really see a big difference. if I change this, let's see. Yeah, it added a slightly different glow to it, a darker glow to that letter. But let's move on. You got this satin. It adds like a soft feel to it. If I needed to change the color, I can do a color overlay. And again, I can change my colors to whatever I want. So you can see how I can overlay a color. If I wanted to make it a hard color, I can just go there and it just mixes the color with it. So there's so many different things you can do. All right, and let's go gradient. Most of the time, I will not use both of these, like a color overlay and a gradient, but right now, just for experiment purposes, that's what we're doing. So I got this color overlay. Right now, it's blending these two colors, the blue and the gray. If I wanted to change my color overlay, I'll simply change these colors. Okay. So for example, I would cancel out of here. I will go change it to, let's say I want it green and pink. Go to pink. All right. So now I would go back to my FX, go to gradient overlay. It's going to pop up. And right now it's still just doing my blues. Let me go to my basics. So you see basics. It's going to do it right there. But there are some colors that are already preset. So we have, if you ever want to do a preset color, you can. But it's a lot of different tools. But to control it exactly how you want, you got to just go to the drop down menu right here and where it says gradient. And then you can change the opacity where you can see through it and whatnot. All right, so you got pattern overlays. So right now I'm going to just leave this one like that. Let's go to another word. All right. So change the size. Select my text tool. And go change a different, kind of like this one right here. All right, so now I want to change my color. Let's go to like a darker blue. And that's it. I'm gonna add an FX to it, some FX to it. Let's go to pattern. And you can see the different patterns that you can add to your letters. So there's drop down menus. You notice every time I click a different pattern, it adds it. Okay. So I'm gonna add pattern. I'm gonna add an outer glow to it. This is basically just gonna make it like shine on the outside. So I want to do yellow. And let's spread it a little bit. Kind of hard to see it with that particular background, but if you were on top of that image, it would show up. So for example, you grab it, pull it. I have to put it on top of that picture. So see how it has that glow right there. You can't see it with the white background, but you can see it on top of the picture. Okay. So, but you can always go back in if you don't like it. Click on the effects, go to whatever it was you were working on, and then you can change the size, the opacity, the texture. You can contour it, and you can just see the different effects just by simply experimenting and seeing what you can do until you get a look that you like. I like that one right there. That was kind of cool. Okay. So I'm going to press OK. And then the last one was one more word. Big. Let's change the font. So I'll go to, again, the text tool. Select. Go big. I'm going to add some FX to it. So I'm done with that. Have it selected. Go to FX drop down menu. Let's go to drop shadow. I think that's the only one that I didn't experiment with. So you can see how the shadow, you can put the shadow where you want to. Okay. You can change the direction of the shadow however you want to do it. And the contour of it, you just see the different effects that happens when you change the contour. And that's pretty much it.